Hi, everybody. Hi, Dana.
We're actually here on time.
Yeah, we're pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just saw that in the chat. You,
I cut myself off though.
you did. You did. Thank you for restraining yourself. That's actually really funny. Hi, Diego. Hi, Snakebit Cat.
Thank you for
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for letting me know you found it funny, even if you didn't laugh.
I reacted. I had a reaction.
Yes, you did.
I did. I did. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
I didn't no sell you. I would never no sell you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Even if it's
Well,
actually
sure.
not funny.
Well, if it's actually not funny, then that's not a no sell.
Ah, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Because selling is
yeah.
about reacting to nothing. Not nothing, but reacting to something that doesn't deserve the reaction.
Well,
That's why you have to sell it.
The wrestling equivalent would be if you threw a punch at me and it was obvious that you completely missed me. Like people watching the match could tell that you didn't come anywhere close. Then I would not sell that because you did not hit me. That would not be a no sell. That would be you missing. So,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Diego, I can't say I've never met him.
Oh, nice. Look at coming in hot. In terms of the man's music, or should I say, in terms of the man and his music, I like Sinatra's music. I'm a fan of Frank Sinatra. Yeah. Actually, I listened to, I'm pretty sure one of his Christmas songs came on the other day when I was listening to Christmas music. And I listened to, what was this? What was the song? It's a song that I talk about in my When You're Smiling. Frank Sinatra does a version of When You're Smiling, because that's one of the songs I talk about in the public domain video. Spoilers, Monday's video is about public domain stuff because it's public domain day because it's January 1st. And one of the bits in the video is I talk about music that will have entered the public domain by the time that video goes up. And one of the songs is When You're Smiling, which was covered by a whole bunch of people. Like it's one of those songs. It's like a American songbook type thing where everybody's done a version of it. And Dean Martin did, and Louis Armstrong did, and probably the most famous
whole world
version.
Smiles with you.
Yeah, probably the most famous version is Louis Prima. Most people who have heard like a record of the song have heard the Louis Prima version. But Sinatra did one too. So, yes.
I would like you to tell your story about that video. Because it's already up. It's just not publicly available.
It's
and
not.
I found that
my public
absolutely
domain
hilarious.
Yeah. By the way, 255 AD. Yeah. At some point, we're going to watch Hilda season 3. I'm not sure when though, because, I mean, for it to fit the gimmick, Dana has to have watched it first.
Not necessarily.
No, we don't have to. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. But when we
I'm saying like if we finish up DS9 before we finish, with my thing, then you might be the one who has to watch it first.
Well, that's hey. But yeah, we're gonna watch it at some point. But I have no idea. When. I don't have it on the schedule. Let me see. Let me catch up with the other questions, and then I'll tell the public domain story. So, Snakebit Cat. I have not seen the Iron Claw. I will see it when it comes out on streaming. There have been 2 movies that came out in theaters over the past few weeks that I was this close to going to see in the theater. One was Godzilla -1, and the other was the Iron Claw. And I decided not to for both of them, but I was this close. So I do want to see the Iron Claw when it comes out on streaming, but I haven't seen it yet, and I hope it's good. Diego, yes, I remember He-Man from the 80s. It was one of my favorite shows at the time. One of the best parts of coming home from school was watching He-Man and the Masters of the Universe every afternoon at 3:30 is what time it came on when I was in elementary school. And in fact, I also, part of my Christmas TV watching last week was watching the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special, which I watch almost every year. So yeah, I love He-Man.
The classics.
The classics.
Indeed.
And Andrew asks, is Deep Space Nine the best Star Trek theme music? No. No. The best Star Trek, in terms of the TV shows, I think the best opening theme is actually probably Voyager. Yeah, the opening theme of Voyager is really good. And the opening theme of Discovery is really good too. I love the Discovery opening theme because it's so different from the others. And I really, really like it. And I think that's it. So the public domain story. So I'm doing a video that will go up on January 1st about various works that will enter the public domain on January 1st, 2024. And one of the sections of the video is about movies that will go up, that will become public domain in 2024. And for a couple of them, actually, I think for all of the ones I talk about, I use just very brief clips to sort of illustrate it. And one of the movies, and of course, one of the things I talk about, this is not a spoiler because it's going to be in the thumbnail, and obviously this is the public domain story that everybody's talking about, is Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie becomes public domain on January 1st, right? So I talk about Steamboat Willie in the video, and I show just a very brief clip of, and I show just a very brief clip of, just like the opening couple of seconds of Steamboat Willie, just to, and then there's another really short clip of Steamboat Willie in there too. So the video was flagged for a copyright notice, not like and for people who upload to YouTube, they know it's not that big of a deal. It's not like a strike against your channel or anything. It's just the automated content ID system.
It recognizes it.
Detects that something in your video corresponds to something in its database that is someone else's content, and it just gives you and usually what it means is you can't monetize the video. It doesn't mean you can't put the video up. It doesn't count against your channel. It just means you can't monetize the video. But it was not Steamboat Willie, surprisingly enough. It was another movie from 1928 that will be public domain by the time the video goes up, called Lights of New York, which I talk about because it was the first all sound movie, the first movie that was like a talkie from beginning to end. And really that's the only notable thing about it. Like,
so who owns that one?
At the moment, Warner Brothers owns it.
See, I've heard that Disney is the one that everybody talks about, but Warner Brothers is harsher on like YouTube type stuff.
In my experience, Warner Brothers is way worse than Disney. Warner Brothers, I think, of the major studios, the times that I have had content claimed in videos, the only times I can think of where they refused to release it when it was clearly fair use was Warner Brothers. And it's only, I don't want to paint them in that bad of like, it's only happened once or twice, but it's really annoying when it happens. Because it's not fair, because all of it's always fair use when I do it. Like, it's clearly
it is fair use, and it's not fair for it not to be fair use.
Yeah, it's clearly fair use. There's no argument about it, but they're the only ones that just would reject the copyright claim. But here's the thing. So there was a content ID copyright claim for Lights of New York. Mm-hmm. I disputed it, and they did release the claim. So it's all good to go for Monday, which is great. But the funny thing is, of course, obviously, not only is it clearly fair use, regardless of the copyright status, but by the time the video goes up, copyright would no longer be an issue because there won't be any copyright on it because it'll be public domain. So that's one of
But they can't be sure of that, because you could tonight. You could just go and push.
I could double cross them.
You could click the button, Steve.
I could double cross them. But so that's one of the, because like I want to have the video be finished and go up on public domain day. So I have to make it and upload it before that. So technically.
Wait, it takes some time to make these videos? I thought you just did them with your phone and then uploaded them.
Yeah, I just make it up as I go along and then just drop clips in randomly. Doesn't take any effort at all.
There's an algorithm there. AI will do that for you.
Sure, and it'll be just as good as if a human being did it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Won't even be able to tell a difference. But yeah, so it's all good, but it is a little funny that like I get a copyright claim for content that by the time the video goes up will be completely free of copyright. Like, January 2nd, I could make a video and I could do whatever. I could put up the entire movie and just upload the movie and say, here's the movie, and do no work of my own. And I'd be allowed to do that because it belongs to the public at that point.
Other than uploading it and clicking all the buttons. That counts.
Well, yes, I would have to. Yes, indeed. Diego, yes, I do remember Power Rangers. I was not a super big Power Rangers fan when it came out because I was 13 when they started, and I was just slightly too old to get into Power Rangers. But my little brother was into Power Rangers, so I know a little bit at least about the original Power Rangers show. I remember a little bit about it from watching it with him. And he got some of the action figures and stuff. But I don't remember. I know nothing about like the later series. But I remember, yeah. But I remember a little bit about the original version, but not that much. Not as good as He-Man. Like He-Man is burned into my brain because He-Man was my thing, but Power Rangers wasn't my thing.
Be sure to drink your
Ovaltine.
Ovaltine? A crummy commercial? Son of a bitch.
25580, I have no idea if YouTube removes stuff that enters the public domain from its database. I probably
That's above
not.
Your pay grade.
Well, I would say probably not because when you dispute a content ID claim, one of the options that is available to you as the basis for your dispute is that the work is in public domain. So I don't think or maybe they do occasionally, but it's not like an automatic thing. So for instance, if I put up a video with content from something that becomes public domain on Monday, if I do what I just said and I throw up something on Tuesday with content that is technically in the public domain because it's, after the first of the year and it has fallen into the public domain, it's still maybe it probably would still be, uploaded to YouTube as content that would be part of the content ID system that would get flagged. And then what I would have to do is I would have to dispute that claim. And instead of claiming fair use, I would claim public domain. So yeah, I don't think it's automatic. Otherwise, why would that option be there? Why?
Well, maybe for things that things that aren't recorded. Like if somebody reads the entirety of,
well, that's true.
I don't know, that's not fair use. But
that's not fair use.
They wouldn't be able to match the sound to somebody else, to another recording of it because they're not actually the voice artist who did any of the audiobooks.
Right.
So.
Well, and also I have run into this a couple of times. Every once in a while, someone will claim copyright that they don't actually have. Like, yeah. The funniest one to me was I got a copyright claim. Like this has been a long time ago, like years and years and years. But somebody made a copyright claim for a piece of music that I used in a video, and it was a Kevin MacLeod piece. And Kevin MacLeod famously releases almost all of his music under a Creative Commons license, so that, as long as you give him credit in the video, you can use it for free and do whatever you want with it. And for that reason, like Kevin's music almost never, it's very, very rare that the presence of his music in a video would generate a claim, because it's, because he doesn't claim it. Like it's it's licensed, it's technically licensed, but it's Creative Commons. And as long as you attribute it to him, you can use it free of charge. But so someone who I knew did not own this copyright claimed it. And it's like, okay, who are you fucking with here? Like everybody knows it's Kevin MacLeod. Like you're not Kevin MacLeod. You don't own this. This is not yours. There's no argument here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like you can just go onto somebody's YouTube channel and like send in a copyright claim, say, hey, they did something that I owned. Like
You
as a
can,
user?
you can, but if you're caught doing it fraudulently, then you can get kicked off of YouTube. I mean,
Well,
it's against the, you know,
terms of service.
the terms of service. Also, another thing you could do, and this would probably be harder to get away with, but I guess I guess you could probably do this with a public domain piece that hadn't already been uploaded somewhere. Like if you took a public domain movie and uploaded it to YouTube and claimed that it was yours, and
Mm-hmm.
you had a big enough channel that that you could submit your work to the content ID system,
Hmm.
then I guess you could submit that. You could add that to the content ID database and say, this is mine. And anybody else who uploaded after that could get flagged for it, you know. But again, like if you get caught claiming that public
Yeah.
domain work is yours and content IDing people
Uh-uh.
for it, then that's not, yeah, you could get
And
in
you,
trouble for
if
that.
you've got a big enough channel that you can upload stuff, you know, if you've got a big enough following that you can upload stuff to the content ID system, maybe you
Yeah.
just don't want to nuke that just for funsies.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the few things that strikes me as even lazier than like the kind of plagiarism that H. Bomber guy talked about last month or earlier this month in his video. It's like, I mean, even the plagiarists at least still had to make a video. I mean, they had to do
Right.
some work in the process. Now they're still thieves, and fuck them. They should
Yeah.
all have their channels nuked. I mean, they're still, you know, I have no good for any of them, but at least like James Somerton at least had to shoot a video
They
with
clicked
other
those
people's
buttons, Steve.
they clicked
the
those buttons. Like with other people's stolen words that he pretended
Mhm.
was his.
Well, yeah, like
But he
that's
still had to
exactly what
make
I
a
was
video.
thinking of
Yeah.
when I said if you read the entire text of a book, you know,
Right.
it wouldn't be in the content ID system. I was exactly thinking of James Somerton, like saying things. So I mean, so that's it. That's why it's not like he stole clips. I mean, maybe he did also, but like if he's reading, if he blog posts is something that I remember coming up. So if he's reading out loud, talking, you know, using somebody else's blog post in his script, there's no way the content ID system is going to get that.
Right. Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's why you gotta
Um, yeah. 255 AD. Well, I mean, technically, as of January 1st in the United States, anyway, it would have to be from 1928 or earlier, because that's the year things from 1928 become public domain.
Otherwise,
here
it
in the
wouldn't be
US
public
on
domain,
January
and
1st.
whoever claimed
Yeah.
it, if they actually owned it, would still own it.
Exactly. And again, it wouldn't necessarily have to be something obscure from that period. It could be something more recent, but it could be like an independent film or something, or like a really low budget thing that, you know, that hadn't been uploaded before, you know, or something like that. Like, yeah, there's ways to, or like, you know, a TV episode from like an old TV show that doesn't have, you know, a lot of presence on YouTube. But yeah, you couldn't upload like a copy of, you know, the Avengers and say, this is mine. Like that would get flagged immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't work so well.
I don't think you would get away with that. No. So anyway,
Yes.
how are you? How are you?
Confused. Never sure. I was worried today that I'd accidentally done the Wordle. I don't think I have. I'm pretty sure I haven't because I did connections.
Oh, yes.
Because I've downloaded the New York Times app. Because I downloaded Connections as a separate app, and then like when the last time that my phone updated, it wouldn't work anymore. So I don't know if they were like if they were stealing from the New York Times database or whatever. But I was like, well, where do I find this? In, you know, so it's apparently a New York Times thing. It's like, okay, well, I got that. Well, it also has Wordle and a bunch of other games like Sudoku and a spelling thing. I'm pretty good at the spelling thing too. What did I get today? Was it assiduous? Anyway, it was like 8 letters, and I was really proud of myself. It's like, woohoo!
Yeah.
And then,
And
yeah,
what was the one that you showed me? You showed me one a few days ago from that game, didn't you? What was that one? I can't remember. It wasn't
I don't think
Assiduous. It was another really.
maybe it was. Maybe it was the weird thing, but yeah. Um, and then yesterday's Wordle. God, I hope it's yesterday's. Actually, I'm going to shut up because what if I know today's? Oh my gosh. And anyway, that's what it is.
It was vitriolic. It was vitriolic. I just went back in our messenger history and checked.
Yes. And what's funny, I've told my vitriolic story, right?
If you have, I have forgotten.
About calling into the radio station when I was in college.
Oh, yes. And
no,
the DJ like noted
it was vituperative, but that's very similar to vitriolic. Yeah, it was vituperative, which I have not gotten to use because it has too many different letters. I don't think
you said to the guy, you don't have to be so vituperative or something like that.
Yeah, you don't have bitter and vituperative is what I said.
Yeah,
he was like,
there you go.
Then he came on after the break. He said, I had to look up a word, and I was just sort of listening and I didn't connect it to what I said because it just happened to be a word I know. It's only 5 syllables. Jeez.
Vituperative. Yeah. And this was back, in the day. So there were no smartphones. He had to either get on an actual computer or look it up in a physical dictionary. Like
I'm betting he had a computer handy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you would
more so than at the college radio station. Although I don't know if that was
it was a college. Why wouldn't they have a dictionary? It's a college. It's a place of learning. There should be dictionaries.
Like the local pop station. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, when you use a word that has all of the letters in it, I don't know if it's all the letters exactly once or if you use all the letters, it says Pangram. I was like, oh, you have a special little ink that comes up. Mr. I Love the Ants. I don't know that we have the version with 4 words at once, but Oasis, my holiday. It's been a little bit weird because I don't like school. School is a thing. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have regular schedule. On Tuesday, we have homeroom, and on Thursday, we have clubs. And that's the schedule, and it gets me through the week. And now I don't have that, and there are just days, and they all just kind of blend together. And it's
yeah.
So and we have family Christmas and my daughter's birthday coming up on Sunday, and I didn't even think of it until today. I was like, I was so frustrated because things are just like, I have all this time, but it's not time at the right time.
Yeah, so it's just your obligations are not evenly spaced throughout.
Yes, I know. And I'm like, why does everybody have to be doing something next Sunday? And it's also frustrating because we go back, I think, on the 2nd or 3rd as teachers. And I'm like, why does everybody have to be doing things for New Year's instead of for Christmas? Because then I get some time to come down off of it. Whereas we have my husband's grandmother's birthday on Saturday, plus I have a funeral that I have to go to on Saturday. Well, I don't have to. I'm choosing to go to on Saturday.
You have anticipated my suggestion. Just don't go. But
no, I'm going to this. This is important.
Okay. Okay.
And then I have family Christmas on Sunday, and then daughter's birthday celebration planned for that evening. So it's just this and this and this and this and this, and it's all together. And then, of course, that's going to go into New Year's, and I don't know what else. And also, my parents are getting back from. I had my dad's cousin passed away, and so they were up there in Pennsylvania for her funeral. And then prior to that, my mom's sister had her birthday, so they'd been down to St. Pete for that. So they're finally getting back here. They haven't seen us this entire break, so they may want to. And at this point, I might be saying, "Can it wait?" So it's just kind of been a lot, and I have a video that I'm working on. Did I do anything on it today? No. Today has been a muddle. It's been a muddle today.
Yeah.
But yesterday I got a fair bit done, so I'm really happy with what I've got so far. And it's not going to be anything like one of yours, like a 15-minute, half hour. Nope. It's 10 maybe. This big.
I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
So, Steve, did your friend get better? Do they mean Jason?
I think that's a reference to Jason. Thank you, Gary, for asking. Jason is doing okay. I mean, day to day, he's fine. He's back to relative normal in terms of his routine and his life. His diet has changed a lot, which I know he's not happy about. But But other than that, I think he's mostly okay. I don't think it's right to say he got better. He has congestive heart failure, which isn't something you really get better from. It's just something that you manage. And as far as I know, I only know what Jason tells me. I'm not with him, So as far as I know, from what he has told me, it is being managed, and he is okay. So thank you for asking.
Well, he's not okay enough to respond to my text.
Paul Cherry with a super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, have you ever come across Ian M. Banks, The Culture? Also, do you think the human race could achieve a society/civilization like the Culture or the Federation in the future? How do you think we would achieve this? I have never. I've heard of the Culture, but I've never read it. I have no real intimate knowledge of it. I know that there's a thing that exists called the Culture. So I can't speak to that. And yeah, theoretically, I guess something like the Federation on Earth. I mean, the existence of the Federation as it really is in Star Trek would require the existence of other alien species, which I don't know if we're ever going to discover that or not. And I would like to think they're out there. Like, I'm not someone who disbelieves in aliens. I think alien civilizations, probably exist somewhere. I don't think we're the only intelligent life that ever evolved anywhere in the universe. But it's just a question of, are they close enough that we would ever encounter them? And, even just
would they bother to have anything to do with us?
And would they want to encounter us? And I mean, our own galaxy is a really big place. And then if you multiply that by how big the entire universe is, it's entirely possible that there are millions of intelligent civilizations out there that we'll just never know about because the distances between us are too great. But in terms of like, the way the Earth's economy seems to work in Star Trek, yeah, at some point, I think we could probably do that. But how? I have no idea. That's above my pay grade.
255 AD. I would have bet that a dictionary from 65 had that word in it. I would have been. I would have been betting on your side.
I had a dictionary. I had a dictionary from the 80s that had it in it. Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of, is that John Mulaney, who says, if there's two words, because that actually came across one of my social media feeds, that thus and such is the N word of, for this group.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If there's two words that are really bad and one of them is so bad that you won't say it.
Yeah.
Guess which one? They're not equivalent.
Yeah.
If you will say one and you won't say the other, they're not equivalent. Like, your behavior shows it.
I love Mulaney's opening. I love his first response to that hypothetical question where he goes, first of all, no. It's one of those perfect John Mulaney deliveries.
Let's start right off.
Yeah, his tone and delivery is just flawless.
David Corton, yes, I will believe it. I won't be able to fathom it, but I'll believe it. I will absolutely believe it. Yes, I will believe that it is, impossible to understandingly big. Yes, that is the correct.
Quite. Yeah. First off, no. Yeah. And Gary, you have congestive heart failure too. I hope you're managing it okay. I hope you're doing okay with it. Best of luck with it. It is not something I would ever want to have to live with. But apparently, if you get diagnosed and you get treatment, it's something that you can live with, but I would not wish to. I would not wish to live with it. I mean, I would live with it if that was what I had to do. I'm not saying I'd rather die. I would live with it. I would totally live with it.
But you'd rather not have to.
I'd rather live while not having
without it.
Yes.
I'd rather live without it than live with it.
Yes.
I feel that way about a lot of things.
I know.
On the other hand, Vilcata, I'm hoping that you are back in the pizza camp, that it wasn't a fluke, because pizza is the other way around. I would rather live with it than live without it. Still, again, would rather live.
Yes, I will live. Yes,
I will live. I will live if I can't have pizza. But I'd rather live with it. So, well, it is 6:29. We've gone past.
Yeah,
our
let's watch this episode. So, by sheer coincidence, we didn't plan this, but by sheer coincidence, the episode we're watching Deep Space Nine tonight. Of course, we're watching Broken Link. This is our last Trek Reluctantly stream of the year. And by sheer coincidence, this is also the last episode of season 4 of Deep Space Nine. So,
well, if the
couldn't
year
have
had
planned
ended
it better.
a little bit earlier, if the year had ended a little bit earlier, we might have been ending on the last episode of that season of Poirot. So, yeah.
Oh, that's true. We were
Potato,
close
potato.
because
we were pretty close on that one.
we were close.
That one we
But-
missed it by that much.
Missed it by that much.
All right, so do I get to
So
explain
yes,
how it works?
please,
Okay.
please.
So this is Steve's channel. So he is determined to be the one in control of things. So he's going to count us in from 3. He's going to say 3, 2, 1, play. So we do this not like on 3 or on 1, but on play. When Steve says play, that's when we all click the play button.
Yes, that is correct.
So if
Very well explained.
this is the time to like check and see if you've got an ad, because we checked it. I did not get an ad previously, and Steve did. So if you get jolted off, we've got a time code that you can take a look at up at the top, so you can see and get synchronized with us. Or if you have a friend who comes in late, just tell them to look at the time code if we miss it.
Indeed.
And it doesn't have to be exact. That's it's not a sing along.
Exactly right. As long as we're within a second of each other or so, like it doesn't have to be absolutely precise. But the
255
time code
AD,
is there for your use.
That is an auntie, uncle, or grandma gift. That's
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you do. You get noisy toys that will annoy the parents.
And you will not have to be there. Exactly.
Exactly. You just
You're like,
or
have fun.
or you offer to grandparents offer to like babysit. And then, you let the kids do whatever they want. You give them lots of sugar. And then you're like, okay, here you go. Go back to mom and
Time
dad.
to go home.
Tired of them. Bye.
I don't know what you're complaining about. They're always incredibly well behaved for me when I indulge their every whim and feed them every single thing they want and take them any place they want to go. And I don't see what the problem is. They're very well behaved.
Yep.
All right.
I don't know that it would work because that's that 30-second delay that YouTube gives us. It's a little bit hinky. Plus, Zoom also
Indeed.
gives a smidgen of a delay too. It's hard
Right.
to have a sing along even just on Zoom.
Yeah. But it's a nice idea.
It is.
Okay.
Well,
are you ready?
TikTok Shives.
Okay, here we go. I will count this in and everybody hit play when I say play. In 3, 2, 1, play.
No beauty shot. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of is, but his complexion is so smooth.
You don't think, yeah, Odo is very beautiful.
Didn't Mary Poppins say that about a plant?
Probably. Isn't that where Nick Nightingale played piano? No, that was the Sonata Cafe. Never mind.
What? Close. Apparently, I'm also very predictable. Good one, Think for a Cat.
You know how to say hello, don't you? You just put your lips together and say hello. You didn't even ask her for her communicator frequency.
Yes, yes, he does.
I don't have to admit anything.
It's really interesting that he would find a humanoid like lovely.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be about, maybe the clothes?
Yeah.
You know,
Diarrhea is like a storm raging inside you.
Azalea, there was something about her that made me think it was like um Nana in different like makeup. Something about the jawline, I think. Didn't she look like Nana visitor to you? I mean, blonde, definitely, but something
Maybe
about
there's some facial similarity, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Andrew, as far as your earlier question, like I do really like the Deep Space Nine theme. I know there are some haters of the Deep Space Nine. I think the Deep Space Nine theme is great. I just wouldn't say it's the best. Thank you, Snakebit Cat. I'd hate to have to ban you.
We might have to compare pictures side by side.
She was also a blonde in her episode of MacGyver.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. I've seen that one. I don't know if I've seen the Knight Rider episode.
I'm not sure if she was in Knight Rider, to be honest. Are you sure you're not thinking of her MacGyver episode, David? It's been a while since I watched Knight
They're very
Rider. She
similar,
may have been in
like in tone.
They're very similar.
Azalea Jane thinks you're wrong.
Well, fair enough. I'm not going to fight anybody over it. I mean, was Voyager's theme Jerry Goldsmith? No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was.
The little CBS thing flashed up, and I'm like, oh my God, am I getting an ad now? What?
This is not a two-parter, 255 AD, no.
A sigh of disgust. Ouch, ouch. Apparently not. Nah.
P.S. We also claim the Sudetenland.
Oh, sorry, my back is hurting, so I'm trying to stretch it out. I mean, in terms of the Klingon Empire, isn't 100 years, kind of chump change? Mm. Ah, yes.
It was an affirmative sneeze. Oh, thanks, David. Okay, yeah. I don't remember that Knight Rider episode. I'll have to watch that.
There
And
you
by the way,
go.
the Voyager theme was Jay Chataway, since Philip asked. I just thought of it a second ago. See, Worf was right.
How lovely.
Oh, there was a
My body
murder
does
in the
not act
habitat
weird.
ring, and I missed it.
Oof.
Her costume looks like she's a supervillain on a CW superhero show.
I was thinking she's like, almost a vampire.
Yes, she's got the Buffy vampire forehead. Totally. Oh, no, you don't. I didn't touch him. You all saw it. I didn't touch him. Andrew, that's good. He's a Gooman being. I like it.
Dun dun dun. Oh, man.
Well, that didn't take long.
Well, that's why there was the cut.
I
I have
know.
no idea how long it took. Ooh. Nibble, nibble.
Don't touch me. It's a little late now. Thanks for not staring.
Well, at least they get out of the way. There is that.
Yeah. People's manners hasn't improved any in the 24th century. Bunch of looky-loos. Go about your business.
Ooh.
Azalea, exactly.
I have to suffer somehow.
Exactly. The bedbug brigade has arrived.
Dun dun dun.
They actually look more like stink bugs, but that's not as alliterative. Oh, never mind.
Suffer.
I was going to say, there's your O'Brien suffering for the episode. Why is it always me?
Yeah, I'm just asking my captain for my orders.
Not in front of the Jim Hadar Wharf.
I'm not afraid. I'm just reluctant. There's a difference.
That's how shapeshifters arm wrestle.
I don't know why the random Starfleet officer waited for her orders, but whatever.
I think he was looking at Odo.
Just, little extra staring time. Yeah, you're not so good at this whole, I think you don't say things, and I have to figure them out. And maybe I'm not as good as figuring out things as I thought I was.
So they have kind of a phantom thread thing going on.
There's always a choice. I hate when people say that.
For spoiling our species' perfect record.
Nah. We just waited a while. Then you're gonna die.
Now you're getting it.
Yep. Then you will die. Ugh. No.
She seems nice.
He has a nice oh shit face.
Viticus, exactly. He broke ape law.
There is nowhere I can turn. There is no way to go on.
What do you say, Scaly?
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
That doesn't work for us. There are more Javert references to come in season 5.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. in the actual show, not just not just you doing it.
Bloop. HB Haga. Yes. Are we there yet, Papa Smurf?
Well, adios.
Adios, partners.
Adios.
Bloop.
I'm just going to join the great maple syrup sea. Nice knowing you. Doesn't it look delicious, sir?
I think it's a little thicker than maple syrup.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's because it's cold. They have to microwave it, you know.
Even cold maple syrup, that stuff is highly liquid.
It's one of my favorite bits. He's gonna skip a stone across that sea of people, and he has to stop himself. And go, oh shit, that's right, it's people.
The ocean is people.
It's people. This is a good scene too.
Andrew, did you know that diarrhea is hereditary?
He seems to be doing okay.
Why ain't he got his clothes? What is the point of him being naked?
Just watch, you'll find out.
Okay. Okay. Ah. But they couldn't give him back his damn clothes?
He's being punished, Dana. Snake Big Cat, that's good.
Well, Azalea, I think she is talking to people who are human,
Right.
and to her, human, Bajoran, Klingon, it does not matter.
Right.
They're like synonyms, or different varieties. Like it's like, saying, well, he's a rhododendron now. No, he's an azalea. Ah, who cares? They're both
Whatever.
bushes. But tis. You don't have to. It's why we got doctors. No, you're not. Yep. Yeah, Oasis, I think that's the case. Dun dun dun. Stop touching me. Sweating.
There you go, Azalea.
I wasn't attempting an incite war. I was just going to do a little genocide. There wouldn't have been a war. See?
To paraphrase Sideshow Bob, attempted genocide. I mean, what is that?
Being a humanoid.
A humanoid.
Odo said, okay, you're going to jail, but give me some clothes first. I don't want to walk around naked anymore. And Bashir's too short. I get a wedgie in one of those onesies. He's a changeling. He's just much better at making wrinkles than I am.
Have a good summer, everybody.
Woohoo! And we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We might not. I need to look. 2 weeks might be when I have my next meeting. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
Bye-bye.
we'll work it out between now and then. I mean, we're still good for next week, right?
Yes.
For the second half of
mm-hmm.
Mysterious Affair Styles.
Yeah. Oh! I know who the murderer is.
So, what did you think of this episode?
It was nice. I thought they did a really good job with the makeup changing gradually.
Oh, yeah.
And, the bits sort of coming down. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
The bit about him being hungry, I was like, oh yeah, it's a kind of a callback. But
they introduced it early in the episode. Yeah.
They just mentioned the wool, so I was like, he's gonna say he's sweating. It was like, because that's probably something.
Right.
Because the solid and liquid. He's like, I'm a solid now. Why do I? There's liquid. Why is there liquid?
What is this?
What is this? There's liquid. They said I'm solid. Am I still liquid? Why can't I make it happen? It's happening on its own.
I'm so gross now. You never told me how gross it is to be a solid. I'm so gross.
How can you be a solid and liquid? And Dr. Shear's like, well, so about that, we need to sit down and have a talk.
Well, Constable, there are several other liquids you should know about.
Rather important ones. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Deep Space Nine, for the most part, avoided doing two-parter cliffhangers for its season finales, which I appreciate because, I mean, even though there have been a couple of really classic Star Trek, cliffhanger season enders and season premieres, like, the Best of Both Worlds is probably the ultimate example in TNG. So it's not like I've never enjoyed that. But as a rule, I would rather finish the season, just finish the story, and Deep Space Nine more often than not did it the way this episode does, which is it's not a cliffhanger.
There's a teaser.
Yeah, exactly. The story is over. The episode is complete. You have closure, but there's something else is coming. There's like a tease right at the end to let you know that there's something else.
That we have a contract for another season.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's a much better way of doing it than, having it end on a cliffhanger, despite the fact that there have been some very good cliffhangers over the years.
Well, and also, it's nice that it was foreshadowed earlier in the episode.
Yes.
That it doesn't feel like it's coming out of nowhere, at least.
It's a really good example of what I am always blathering on about as far as like how to write episodic television, but in an ongoing series, which is set up and payoff. And even if it is a series, and each episode follows on the last. So, it's not like they're not reintroducing all the characters from scratch. They're assuming a certain amount of familiarity with the people and the situation, but things that are important in that episode do either get introduced or reintroduced in it. So the bit about Odo doesn't eat, well, that's mentioned so that it pays off later and it lands. Like the stuff with Galron. We see Galron at the start of this episode. So when he shows up at the end of the episode, it means something for people who have seen this episode. You don't have to have ever seen a Star Trek episode ever before. You know who Galron is because he was in this episode.
Right. And that's one of the things that bothers me about teaching language arts is that that's not those terms need to be in the vocabulary, the not just vocabulary, but in terms of like figurative language type things, like that you learn as part of English class, that needs to be part of it. And it's not. I mean, I talk about it, but it's not something that I have them write down and say, okay, you need to know this because, you know, the state says you have to, essentially. And it can be hard to do more than, and I think it's important in terms of storytelling, but it can be hard to do much more than mention it in passing. Unless maybe, you know, back when I was, you know, teaching honors, I'm trying to think, it's been since before COVID, honestly. But I'm trying to remember if I may have talked about that in more depth when we were studying longer works about setup and payoff and how that's different from foreshadowing.
Yes.
But at the same time, you know, it's something that I think is easily as important to story structure as knowing, you know, the difference between falling action, resolution, and denouement, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's more important. I think in terms of terms of structuring a story in a way that makes it feel complete and makes it feel satisfying to whatever it is to read or watch or whatever the medium is. I mean, I think setup and payoff is fundamental.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's not,
you know,
and it's also different than, say, bookending, which, you know, I think is something you can skip. You know, I think that would be something you can skip. But the fact that setup and payoff is not part of our academic vocabulary, and it wasn't in. I think this is the third or fourth iteration of the state standards that I've had. We were just getting out of QCC's, the quality core curriculum. And then we went to Georgia Performance Standards. And then we went to, the Georgia Standards of Excellence. So this is the third iteration. And then Georgia's drafted new standards, which are structured very differently. And they haven't, I don't think they've released the full version yet. So maybe it includes setup and payoff, but it's structured very differently.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I know the only time we didn't, I never heard about setup and payoff in a classroom until I got to college and I took writing classes.
And it's something
we never mentioned it at all.
It doesn't seem like it would be hard to talk about.
It's a really simple concept.
Yeah. And
it's a really simple concept, and it's such a powerful concept. Like you said, it drives narrative. I mean, it's
very much so. Very, very, very much so. Vilcata, you mentioned it was a good character moment for Garrick. That was one thing that I didn't think was done well, because he gets ranty there. Yes, he gets ranty there, and he gets ranty
against Worf. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like his decision to do that, that's fine, but I don't understand. It doesn't make sense given what we're supposed to think of him, that like he's not a crusader. I could easily have seen him attempting to manipulate Worf in some way, and he does a little bit, but the rant ain't gonna work with Worf. But the bit about, and he doesn't use that to the end, you know, you're a disappointment, but he doesn't really appeal to Worf's sense of, you know, this is an opportunity to take a strike, to make a decisive strike, to yes, we will be annihilated, but we will come out victorious. You know, it will be a sacrifice. He doesn't appeal to that. And he's also not, you know, not
he says you're a Klingon you're a Klingon. You don't tell me you wouldn't, you know, object to a little strategic genocide, or however he puts it. But
yeah, strategic genocide. He's not appealing to the emotion. It's not an emotional appeal. He's making a logical appeal to the Klingon passion. That's impractical. That's poor strategy there. And now I don't know. I could see him being being pragmatic, as, you know, I've caught maybe lowering Worf's defenses and then trying to do it anyway.
Right.
But he just seems to go on this impassioned speech that doesn't really achieve him anything. And he's so pragmatic. He's supposed to be so smart. And it's a nice scenery chewing moment, but it feels like they went for that even when that wasn't something that matched up with what his character we've seen previously is supposed to be like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, I feel
almost in character, but then they went for the style, and honestly, what's more fun for the actor?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't find it out of character because Garrick has always had that florid side to him, you know. So I didn't. And to answer 255 AD's question, do I think Garrick would have tried to do that if the changeling hadn't insulted his people? No.
Yeah.
And don't forget, she didn't just insult his people; she threatened to annihilate them. Like, that's why Garrick did it. That's why Garrick did it, because the female changeling basically told him, we're going to fucking kill all of you. You're all dead.
You're all dead. You just don't know.
We're going to destroy. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
destroy your entire civilization because you tried to destroy ours. The clock's ticking, you know, like, that's why he did it. Not because she insulted him, because she said, you're fucking dead. We're going to kill you all. Yeah.
But if she hadn't said anything, maybe
he wouldn't have. I don't think he would have. Well, because I think that's the function in the story of them having that conversation. Like, I mean, that's, speaking of setup and payoff. Like, that's the reason why why does Garrick talk to her in the hallway there, and why does she say, "You're dead. All Cardassians are dead"? You know, why does she say that? Because that's why Garrick is in that little room later on, trying to, you know, hijack the torpedoes. Also, it's a nice reminder that on Deep Space Nine, Worf gets to win fights. That's one of the big differences between Worf on TNG and Worf on Deep Space Nine. When he moves to Deep Space Nine, they let him win fights, which is nice. Mr. I Love the Ants, the Cardassians. In the previous season there was the episode where the Cardassian and Romulan combined secret fleet attempted to destroy the changeling homeworld. So the Cardassians attacked first, you know. But still, I mean, Garrick don't care. Garrick's not going to say, well, you know, they do have a point. We did attack them first. Like, no, he's going to act to save
and
his
also,
people.
You know, knowing that they're going to be coming after him and intending to wipe them out, he's like, okay, so we attacked first, and that wasn't very nice of us. But now they're intending to wipe us out because we attacked first. I'm not just going to, you know, you don't just let that happen.
No, exactly. And like Philip points out, you know, that is a very strong part of Garrick's character. He is an extremely proud Cardassian. Despite the fact that we see him sort of differ from mainstream Cardassia in certain ways. Like, there's a part of him deep down that will never change, that is absolutely patriotic and loyal, and you know, it's just in his blood. Like, he's a deeply loyal, proud Cardassian.
It's also practical. So what Vilkata says, you know, Garrick has always been a selfish character with his own survival in front of everything else. And, you know, he's willing to throw it away on this attack. But the point is, he believes her, which means he's either dying in this attack or he's going to die when they wipe out the Cardassians. Potato, potato, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, he clearly, he takes what she says, you know, he brushes it off, you know, just sort of goes, oh, okay, golly, gee whiz.
Okay.
You know, oh, my goodness gracious. But
You're all dead. Oh, okay.
Well, it was nice to meet you.
Well, you have a nice day.
Ta-ta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that. I mean, again, when he does go on that rant to Worf, which didn't quite work for you. I mean, I like that he frames it to Worf as, I'm doing this for everybody. You know, we can save the entire quadrant, like the Federation and the Klingons, and everybody will be safe from the Dominion if we do this, which is technically true. You know, if they did obliterate all of the changelings, like it wouldn't just be for the benefit of Cardassia, it would benefit everybody else too. But that's not why Garrick's doing it. Garrick's doing it for his people. It's
Yeah.
just, but he's not going to say that to Worf. He's going to pitch Worf the broader spectrum and be like, it's good for everybody if we take him out, you know?
Yeah.
So, shall we play Wordle and then
Let's do.
call the proceedings to a close?
Yes.
So-
let's. I'm hoping. I took some leave before the show, and I don't know. Maybe I'd be feeling even worse, but it has not resolved things. I'm not happy about that. Tis what
Well,
tis.
I hope things resolve very quickly.
Me too. Thank you. So let's go. So the way this works is that
Yeah.
I see like the Zoom call, and I got the chat up here, and that's it. That's it.
Exactly.
So I'm going by. So I'm just going from what y'all tell me and sort of thinking about different word combinations. I don't actually see the Wordle board. It's just up. Y'all can see it on, the YouTube thing.
Yep.
So if you have played Wordle today and you know what the Wordle is, don't give it away. Also, if you have any like extra sources, don't give it away. So no spoilers is the rule. Other than that, if you haven't played Wordle today, you are not only welcome, but encouraged to join us and put your guesses in the chat, suggestions, all sorts of stuff. So usually we start off with my favorite starter, which is heart, Heart. Will you put it in there, Steve?
Let's give it a shot. Heart. And heart gives us, I heard that yawn. I heard that squeak. Heart gives us an A in the wrong place, and that's it.
Wow. Well, let's try lions then.
Lions. Let's see what we get with that. Okay, a couple more. Lions gives us an I in the wrong place and an S in the wrong place. So we know that there is an I, an A, and an S, but we don't know where any of them go.
Well, it could be SAI something.
It could. Yeah.
So what's an ending word cluster? Or it could be S something, because it could be
Yeah.
SAI or AIS something. Something AIS something. I'm going through the alphabet here.
Yeah.
HIJ MAIS feels like it should be a word. Oh, that's French. Azalea, that could work. I'm not completely familiar
Segb
with that term. Well, Paisley's too long. Also, there's no L.
Indeed.
Or E. Let's see.
Do you want? I mean, I know we know that there's not an L, but we could try clump. See if it gives us anything else.
Let me get through the rest of the alphabet.
Okay.
P.
Pardon me.
There's. Oh, we don't know if there's a U.
Andrew's got a good suggestion there.
Daisy. Yeah, that's good.
It could be Daisy.
I was thinking
Daisy.
WAIS, but it would be waste. And I was trying to think of if there was anything else. But yeah, let's go for Daisy. That's a good one.
Let's try Daisy. It's Daisy.
Way to go, Andrew.
Nice job, Andrew.
Good job, Team Us. High five.
Yeah. Daisy.
Yeah, I went past DAIS, and I was like, I was thinking like the pedestal, stage, and I was just like, no, that's only 4 letters then.
Give me your answer to.
Basic would also have worked, I think.
Oh, basic. Hey.
And S. Yep. Yeah. Nice. Go us. And of course, Daisy also references that we have been reading The Great Gatsby.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Oh, and I'm reading A Bride's Guide to Marriage and Murder. Nice little murder mystery.
Nice.
And the main character's mother's name is Daisy.
Well,
And
there's just daisies popping up all over the place.
it is, and we talked when we read that, we talked about names and name choices, you know, and Daisy was one of the names we talked about, and it made me think of this when I was going through this book. And it's set, I think, a little earlier. Like, I think it's set in the mid-teens, maybe. I don't know. Let me look here. Does it say? Oh, no. Holy bunkers. It's before that. 1900. Wow, I didn't realize it was so early. I was thinking it was Edwardian, but they are clearly in the Victorian period. It might have been, actually, there might have been a mention of the Queen of a few times throughout it. So
that's a clue. But late
so,
Victorian.
Yeah, well, yeah, but like, if it wasn't Victorian, there would have been mention of a king, not a queen.
Indeed.
So.
Oh, David, yes, Daisy Johnson from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Great show. I hope you're enjoying Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if you've never seen it before. I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Not bunkers, bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, holy bonkers. That's just bonkers. Like, that's wild. But bonkers is more fun to say than wild. Yeah.
Bonkers is such a great word.
Isn't it, though? I really like it.
It's such a great word. That was bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a great word.
Yep. And it moves well with holy in front of it. Holy bonkers. Because, of course,
Holy
I've
bonkers.
always, like, you remember Inspector Gadget, right?
Oh, yeah. I watched it religiously, yeah.
So that's not, he doesn't say bonkers.
No, what does he say?
I'll let you see.
Wowzers. Wowzers.
Yes!
He says wowzers.
Yes, he says, and holy wowzers just doesn't work as much.
Wowzers.
Holy bonkers flows better, but wowzers is fun. Holy bonkers, yep.
Holy bonkers.
So, yeah.
Holy rusted metal, Batman.
Ah! Oh, wowzers. I don't know if impressed is the right word. I am surprised that you remember that particular line.
Do you know my favorite holy whatever line from Robin? I think I've told you before, and I might have even mentioned it on a stream before, but there was the episode of the Adam West show when Catwoman has them tied to giant grills, and they're tied to giant grills, and then there are giant magnifying glasses arranged over them to magnify the heat of the sun to cook them. And Catwoman says, and just to make sure that you come out nice and crispy, I've also painted you both with margarine. And Robin goes, holy oleo.
That scans very nicely.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that she made it some, sort of, she'd gotten like some sort of religious ritual and it, worshiping Isis, and she'd gotten some acolytes. And so that they were all priestesses, and to the cat. And Robin said, "Holy cats!
Holy cats!
Holy cats!" Crisis on Infinite Earth, holy flaming skies of death.
A bit on the nose, but appropriate for the situation. So shall we? Shall we wrap this baby up? Call it a year, in fact, because it'll be in the new year when we rejoin.
This is no. You've got one more live stream, don't you?
I do. I have my I have my patron and member hangout on New Year's Eve.
But this is for this show. This is
our last one of the year.
Yep, it is. We'll be entering 2024. Of course, time is, completely a human construct. It's just based on our perception.
Indeed. It's 2024. It'll be 2024 because we all say it is.
Because,
not because it actually
those
is.
of us who are here. I think all of us who are here follow the.
Those of us who follow that calendar we've collectively agreed that's what the day is. Is this the
Julian one or the Gregorian one? I can never keep them straight.
I think the Gregorian is the more recent one, is the refinement of the Julian one. Yeah, the Julian calendar is basically the same as the Gregorian, but the Gregorian has a couple of additional features to it to make it more accurate. So yeah.
So yeah, and so also, of course, do not forget about charitylinks.page, which is linked down in the description, and has some information about people we know, friends of ours, who have fallen on some challenges and could use
Yes,
some
indeed.
financial assistance if you have the ability to do so and are so inclined. It would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget, yeah, so Steve has the patron hangout. So if you are a channel member or you are a patron, then you get to hang out with Steve, which is like just such a great perk. And yeah, so that's coming up. And if you are not a patron or member and you want to hang out, the chat will be available. And
Indeed.
if you are a patron or member and you don't want to hang out with Steve, but you want to hang out with the rest of us and just be in the chat, that's all. It's fine too.
Absolutely.
You know? I totally would not think less of you for that.
As long as you give me money, you can you can come to the thing. You can not come to the thing.
It's
whatever
all
you
the
want.
same. And then next week, yeah, we get to find out the solution to the mystery for the mysterious Ferris house. And
That's
honestly, that gives you enough time that you could read the book. Or you could just watch the
if you want, if you don't know the story and you want to spoil it for yourself. But yes, we will be picking up with the second half of Mysterious Ferret Styles next week.
Which,
yes,
by the way, is in the public domain already.
That's
Even
right,
though
because
we're
it was
not
the
yet.
first one. It was the first
It was the
Poirot
very
book,
first
right?
one.
Yeah.
Her first, it was her first book.
It was
period.
Christie's first. Period. Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Christie's
it's been in the
book.
public domain for a few years. Yeah,
Yeah.
which I guess is why
And,
you got to be in a community theater production of it, because it was hey.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, we still had somebody had written it, so we still had to pay royalties.
Oh, that's right. Sure,
Sorry.
you had to pay royalties to who wrote
to the
the
person who wrote
adaptation.
the script.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then or the publishing company or whatever. And then I think her second novel is also in the public domain, the Tommy and Tuppence mystery.
Yeah.
So
And there's a Christie Poirot novel going public domain on Monday too.
oh, which one's that?
Let me look it up real quick. I
It's-
can't remember
it's
off the top of my head.
Really a Poirot one? I thought
Yeah.
no, it must be a few years until, because the first novel of hers that I read was a Jane Marple one, but she doesn't come along for another few years. It's the first Marple one. It's The Murder at the Vicarage. But I don't think that's next. I think there's some other stuff that comes in the middle. And there's not another Tommy and Tuppence one for a while, alas.
It is The Mystery of the Blue Train.
Not as good. I mean, still enjoyable.
It will be public domain in the United States on January 1st in just a few days.
Just a few more days. Yep.
Whether you like it or not, in a few days you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. So one of my, I'll just say this. We'll finish up.
Yeah.
Her best known Styles and Curtin are among best known just for Poirot as a character. And then of course, and then There Were None, which we've done, and
Yes.
Murder on the Orient Express. One also being a Poirot, and The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, which is a Poirot, but does not feature Hastings. I think it's Poirot. Maybe it's not. But Poirot is not the character that you remember from that one. Trust me. Those are all thought of as among her best in terms of mystery. But my favorite, because I feel like she's stronger at writing interesting characters and very, very archetypal characters, is 13 at Dinner. God, I love that song.
You've talked about this one with me before, yeah.
So good. So Sleeping Murder, also good. But 13 at Dinner. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's so good.
But yeah, I mean, possibly because of the number of times it's been adapted. But I mean, it was adapted so many times for a reason. But I mean, Murder on the Orient Express, that's like, it's either that or Hound of the Baskervilles. One of those two has got to be the most widely, if not most widely read, at least most widely known mystery novel in the English language. I mean, if it's not one of those two, I'm not sure what it is.
I don't think so, because And Then
You
There
don't
Were
think?
None. No, because And Then There Were None is like a a book that studied, and I don't know why. And then there were none as a book that studied more often in British literature courses.
You think? Yeah, but you think so?
Yes.
You think more like if you just found like a random person on the street and said, "Name a mystery novel off the top of your head," you think more people would say under one of its many titles would identify, and then there were none more than Mystery on the Orient, Murder on the Orient Express, or
I don't think so, because
Hound of the Baskervilles.
First of all, name a mystery. Murder on the Orient Express has been adapted more often into films than there were none. So that's, and it's recent, so it would be difficult to say. So I would think Murder on the Orient Express would come more quickly than even Hound of the Baskervilles, because it's had a movie recently.
That's a good point. It probably would. Yeah.
So and it's hard because it's a book and a movie to get people to think just books.
Good point. Good point. Well, on that note, shall we wrap it up?
Call it a night.
All right. Call it a year.
Yeah. For us, anyway. Thanks for being with us tonight, everybody. Bye.
Yep. See you next week.